Hey guys, Jay here from the Legion of Two, and in this video I wanted to talk about the Siege of Terra book series, and more specifically the Solar War in the Siege of Terra book series. Now, I was in two minds about making this video because, to be honest, I'm in two minds about the Solar War Collector's Edition series itself. I'm sure you know the ones I'm talking about, the hardback, leather-bound, extremely limited run of Siege of Terra books that GW just seems to refuse to use that queuing system for, and has us all sort of frothing at the mouth, waiting for 5 to 10 or 10 o'clock so that we can all get onto the website and make sure we secure a copy before they inevitably sell out. I have to admit that when I was younger, I did buy every single Horus Heresy book first edition, and I still have them, including all the Black Library novels that were limited, all the novellas, all the way back to Aurelian. I would never commit to getting any re-release of any special edition. I always had to have the special first edition of all the Black Library novellas. But when it came to the actual main series, I stayed with the softback, smaller copies. Even when they decided to redo the hardback, I actually did buy all those and get them signed by their authors. But after a while, and given the amount of space that took, I just decided to get rid of them and stayed with the smaller softback version. But as a result, I have a complete collection to date, and I swear to God, I think I've aged a decade when it comes to getting them. When it comes to the Siege of Terra books, they are limited to 2,500 each, and I can personally vouch that when it comes to the day of its pre-order, I'm sitting there buttock clenched at 10 to 10 and 5 to 10, hitting refresh, waiting for them to come onto the website, because I know that by the time I blink, they're going to sell out. Each book has sold out every single time, in some instances within less than 5 minutes. And I have to admit, when it came to Mortis, some people might enjoy that book. I'm honestly surprised it did sell out. And what are people's thoughts of it? Because I personally thought it did absolutely nothing. But as a result of this, on eBay, for example, the first book is now going for between £400 to £1,200. Don't get me wrong, this isn't an issue with a seller who has bought the book and then has decided not to get the rest of the collection, or didn't like the book, or maybe has decided that they can't financially maintain the series, or maybe need it for another financial issue. But the problem is the scalpers, and them attempting to buy multiple copies of each book just so they can put them up on eBay for a crazy price and then milk the consumer for every single penny. Now, I would expect a first edition of, say, Harry Potter to go for crazy money. But as much as I love Warhammer and as much as I love the Horus Heresy, it is a niche book in a niche series in a niche game that's in a niche hobby. So it's crazy that they can go for some of the money that you see. Collecting is a big part of the hobby, and nobody is going to deny that. And let's all be clear, it's totally fine for people to buy the books wherever it can be sort of read once, read again, or because they want it as a fancy cover, they want it for a collection, or they even want it for just the prestige of having this book because they think it looks nice on their shelf. But they are just books. And you would think that there wouldn't be such a drive for these, but even to me, I'm not immune to the GW propaganda sometimes, and I have to admit that even though, apart from the limited novellas, when it came to the Siege of Terra series, I did say to myself, I want the limited run, because it is the final, say, under 10 books of a rather long, beautiful series. But the price that you're having to pay for them, I personally wouldn't say is worth it, let alone the crazy prices you'll find on eBay. Now, that being said, if the limited editions came as a combo with the map that they sell separately a few months after the fact, if the limited edition was the map and the book for, say, £50 or even £60, I would dare say that's worth it. but the fact that also it's down to 2,500 copies that has to be spread out through the world, and you've got different release time frames through the course of the day and the night, whether it be New Zealand, the UK, or the Americas. It's just crazy. Now, maybe I am a hypocrite and a bit of a slave to Games Workshop marketing, as I technically do own all the books to date, including the Siege of Terra series, and I did find myself having to find £150 worth of crap just to make sure I got myself the limited Sergeant Castus. But at the moment in time of buying the book, I didn't really feel any satisfaction of success that I have got this book. It's different when you're holding it in your hand and you're about to read it and you're about to see the story advance. But when you're sitting at 10:05 and you've just secured the book, all it is anxiety, and you're glad that it's now over again for potentially another 6 months. Now, maybe that is a bit extreme to some people, but I just feel like participating in a mad dash is adding to the problem, and having to pay roughly 4 to 5 times the amount of the standard book just for the limited book to get a nice cover, a nice sort of gold emblem, a few nice pictures on the inside, and a smaller coloured version of the maps is just not worth it. But I do understand for some people it is that fear of missing out and the fear of not having a complete collection, and I have fallen into that trap myself, as each book has went on, or you're going to have an incomplete collection, so you might as well just be stuck at your computer at 10 o'clock waiting for the next book to come. But what do you think about it? Do you collect them? Are you anxiety driven like myself when it comes to waiting for this book? Are you annoyed at the scalpers? Are you annoyed that they've even done a limited run of these books? Tell me what you think in the comments section below, and as usual, as I've said before, please like, subscribe, and do all that usual stuff. Thank you now. Bye bye.